Hi, folks. Waiting for some folks to join us here. Hi, Julie. Hi, Wendy. Hey, everybody. Hi, Lindsay. All right. Back at it with the clarinet. Yep. Figured I'd play a little bit on the clarinet while we're waiting for everybody. Anyone recognize this music? I don't know if you can hear it. Does anyone recognize the background music? Can I do some flute? Yeah, good job. Who got it? Daniel. Daniel, you got it right. Some good questions here. Just want to say hi, everybody. It's been a while since the last time I've posted a video, maybe a couple of weeks, but we're back from summer. I hope everybody had a great summer. I had a really awesome summer. I did a lot of traveling. I was in Jamaica for a little vacation. I was in Europe again. One of my videos I posted a couple of weeks ago was from some things I recorded in Europe with my students. That was the Nintendo Wii theme video. I was in Italy, Austria, Germany, and Switzerland. So we had a fantastic time. And then just a couple weeks ago, I got this shirt. I was in New Orleans, where they have a great music festival. It's the first weekend in August. They have a music festival for Louis Armstrong, who's also known as Satchmo, and it's called the Satchmo Summer Fest. So that's where my shirt is from. And we had an awesome time. So what I want to do is I want to just welcome you guys back. I'm sure some of you are already back in school. How many of you are already back in school? Let me know in the comments. And I'm sure most of you are going back soon. Up here in Pennsylvania, we don't go back to school until after the day after Labor Day. So we have a couple weeks left, and everyone's going to be getting started with their band lessons soon. Let me know in the comments if you are a beginner band student, and maybe you have some questions about what it's going to be like to learn your instrument. Maybe you've already started and you've got some questions, or maybe you're in middle school or high school and you're more advanced and you've got some questions for me. So let's dive right into some questions. I have my support team here helping me. It's going to feed me some questions, or I'm going to check out some questions here. So if you see any good questions, you let me know. I'm going to pick one out here. Have you seen any ones yet that jump out?
How often do you change your reed on a clarinet?
Okay. How often, from our chat team here, how often do I change my reed on my clarinet? Okay, so here's the deal with reeds. So if you play clarinet, saxophone, anything that uses a reed, what some kids tend to do, which is not really the right thing to do, is they'll buy one reed and then they'll use it until it dies, right? Until it's totally chipped and ruined, and then you have to buy a new reed. When actually what you should do is you should buy a box of reeds. You should have at least, I'd say, 3 or 4 reeds in your case at all times. And you take those 3 or 4 reeds and you play them and you rotate them. So you don't play one reed until it dies. You take a couple of reeds that are good. So you'll buy a box of reeds. I don't know if I have any boxes sitting around here. You buy a box of reeds. Actually, I'm going to show you guys something. I have a huge box of like a million reeds. I'm going to get it for you right now. Okay, so here's my box of tenor sax reeds, and it's just like a ton of reeds, right? So these are all reeds that I've bought, and then you try them out. You try out the whole box, and you see which ones are good and which ones play really well for you, and some reeds maybe play not so well, because reeds are made out of a natural material. They're made out of cane, and so some of them are going to play really great for you right out of the box. Some of them are not going to be so easy to play. So you go through the box, pick out the ones that you like the best, and you keep a rotation of 3 to 4 reeds in your case at all times. So you always have a backup. All right. So Wendy said she has 15 reeds, and Maynette Twirler says that they have 8 packs in their case. Okay, that's plenty. Okay, the Unicorn is asking me, have I directed a marching band? Yes, actually. I don't know if you followed my videos over the past year or two. I taught elementary band. I was 4th and 5th grade band director. Up here in Pennsylvania, we have bands starting in 4th grade. I taught 4th and 5th grade band for a long time, for about 16 years. And then for the past 2 years, I moved up and I am the high school band director. So we just finished band camp. We have the marching band in school every day. We're learning our show for this year. Okay. Victoria Tarowski says, hey, I struggle with playing the high notes on my clarinet, and my clarinet is old. How can I help the noise not sound scratchy? Okay, so there's 2 things there. If your clarinet is old, you want to make sure you bring it to a music shop and make sure that there aren't any problems with your clarinet. So if there are any, here's my clarinet. So you've got all kinds of keys and little pads that close so the sound can come out correctly. So if you have an older clarinet, you may have some air leaks. If you have any air leaks in your clarinet, it's going to be almost impossible to play. So you got to get it all fixed up. So if your clarinet's in good shape, I recommend you check out my video on how to play high notes on the clarinet. What you do is you get a really strong, a good embouchure, a really strong, powerful sound on a low note. Let's take a C. So thumb, 1, 2, 3. Good band face, strong air. So it's a strong sound. You just take your thumb and you just tap the register key like this. But when you do that, you have to make sure none of your other fingers move or your note will get messed up. So here's my C in the low notes below the ledger line, or on the ledger line. And then I just very slightly tap the key and it pops up to a high G. So when you do that, you have to make sure your air is strong, okay? That might be one of the reasons you're having trouble with high notes. Also, you want to make sure your reed is strong enough. If you're on a 2 or a 2.5 reed, it might be too weak, and you might need to move up to a number 3 reed to get the high notes. Any good questions coming through? Maybe a non-clarinet question?
Yeah, from the UK, Jake Freeman wants to know, how do you get a school to start a band?
Whoa, okay, so it was Jake. What was the name?
From the UK, Freeman.
Jake Freeman from the UK asked me, how do you get your school to start a band? I guess so you don't have a band at your school. The thing is here, one thing I've noticed from traveling, and I know it's different in every country. One thing I've noticed is in the United States, it's very common that every school has a school band. And that's one of the great things that we have over here. I've noticed that whether you're in the UK or some other countries around the world, music and bands are more community-based. So you might not have your band lessons at school, but you might have a community band you can join. I know in the UK, brass bands are really a popular thing. So what I would suggest is what you start with is asking your teachers if I'm sure there are clubs, like I don't know if you have a chess club or a book club or things like that. Ask your teachers if you can start a club and just find other students who play musical instruments and start your own band. And maybe that will develop into something that can become a regular part of the school. So that's a great question. Let's see here. Let's see. How do you prevent your plugs from falling out on the flute? So on a flute, I don't know if you guys know that when you get a beginner flute, you generally get a flute where all of these holes, all of the keys are completely covered. There's no holes. But in a professional flute, there's actually holes. They look like little donuts. Each key looks like a little donut hole. And that's because when you get to a professional level, the flute sounds better if you have more resonance, these open tone holes create a better sound. So if you have one of these flutes with open tone holes, you might have little plastic plugs that make it easier to cover the keys. I'm not really sure how to keep them from falling out. If they keep falling out, you might need to just get a new set of plugs because maybe over time they've gotten a little bit what's the word? Compressed, and they fall out. So maybe get a new set of plugs, and they'll stay put. Let's see. What else do we have here? Dirt Bike King is asking me, is the alto sax similar to the Bari sax? From Dirt Bike King. Thank you for that question. I have a video called What is a Bari Sax on my channel, so check that out. I don't have a Bari sax with me. Here's my alto sax. I'll play a little bit. Okay, need to warm up a little bit. The cool thing about alto sax and Bari sax is the alto sax is actually, if you took this alto sax and you straightened it out, so it was you straightened out the bell so it was one long tube, the alto sax is exactly half the size of a baritone sax. So if you took a baritone sax and stretched it out so there were no bends in it, and you took an alto sax and stretched it out, an alto sax is exactly half the size of a baritone sax. So a baritone sax is everything identical to alto sax, just one octave lower. The other thing about Bari sax is they usually have one extra key on the back to get you to play a low A, and that's really cool. I'll have to get my Bari sometime and play some baritone sax videos for you, but look at my video with my special guest, Dennis de Blasio. He's one of my teachers I had when I was in college, and he does some awesome stuff on the Bari sax. Okay, other good comments from our team out there. Seeing anything?
Jenna Wyman wants to know what's the best way to work on above staff.
Hi, Jenna.
Trumpet.
Jenna Wyman is watching. Jenna, I assume you're the same Jenna Wyman, came with me as part of our group of students that went to Europe. The best way to work above the staff on the trumpet. Now, what I hear, now my professional expertise is on flute and clarinet and saxophone. But what I always hear from my trumpet playing professional friends is that when you're working on going above higher notes, when you're going higher and higher on the trumpet, is two things. You have to gradually work up your muscles. You really have to practice every day on the trumpet, because these embouchure muscles really are what allow you and give you the strength and the endurance to continue going up on the trumpet. The other huge thing is air. So I hear that from, a million times from my trumpet playing, brass playing friends, is air, air, air. So when you're going to play your high notes on the trumpet or the trombone or any brass instrument, you have to give it so much air. You have to breathe deeper than you probably thought you could. So you breathe really from your belly, and you send that air, a lot more air than a lot of times you're used to using. So I would recommend remembering to use your air, get with a trumpet teacher, and work your way up gradually adding a note to your range. Okay, high range on the trumpet doesn't come with one trick. It's a gradual process of working your muscles, learning how to use your air. I think that was pretty much a good answer to that, but definitely get a private teacher. That will help too. Thanks for the question, Jenna. It's delicious. Says, I'm just starting to play the flute. Do I have any tips? Watch my flute video on how to make a sound on the flute. The biggest thing with beginner flute players is making the sound. Or anyone out there, if you're in the high school band or the middle school band and you don't play flute, I don't know if you've ever asked your friends who play flute if you can try it, right? But a lot of times when kids go to play the flute, it's they can't get a sound. And that's because when you blow into the flute, you don't want to think about having a big open hole like that's way too much air. Think about your lips being closed, like you're saying the letter M, but not tight, just relaxed, almost like you're asleep. So when you're asleep, sometimes you might sleep with your mouth open, but if you're just asleep and relaxed and your mouth is closed, that's how you play the flute. And what we do is you keep our lips closed, and then you just want to push air through the very center of your lips, like you're starting with the sound of the letter P. So watch me. Put your hand in front. Get that. And that focuses your air in a tiny little stream like this. So that's my tip for starting to learn the flute. What else do we have?
Allie Taylor is starting band this year for the first time. She wants to know if you have any tips.
Allie Taylor, I'm starting marching band this year. Do you have any tips? Okay, how many of you out there are also in marching band? And if you guys have answers to questions that you see, if maybe you're a more experienced player, feel free to share your answers to these questions. My big tip for marching band, here's my thing for marching band. A lot of the trouble that folks have when they first start marching band, the challenge, is that not only are you playing music on your instrument that maybe is more challenging than you're used to, you're also at the same time, you have to be thinking about looking the part. So when we're in a marching band, everyone is supposed to look the same. We all wear a uniform. Everyone's supposed to look the same. You're supposed to be standing nice and tall with awesome posture. Your feet have to move in a very certain way on the beat, and you have to be paying attention to where you're supposed to go on the football field. So it's like 100 things happening at once. So what I recommend is if you're just starting, you have to focus your attention on holding your instrument with good posture. So clarinets, you're holding nice and straight like this, and flutes straight out like this. Trumpets, holding your trumpet nice and straight towards the audience. And focus on that, right? Make sure you're looking good and marching well. And then over time, it gets easier and easier to, at the same time, focus on playing your instrument. At the beginning, it's kind of like you're a little overwhelmed. Stick with it. It gets easier. Okay. What else do we have here? Hi to everyone saying hello. Let's see here. Other questions. How do you avoid, Jessica Rose asked me, how do you avoid teeth marks on the clarinet? Do I have them? You know what? So really there's no way to avoid them because if you're using a proper embouchure, you are pretty firm on the clarinet. You don't want to be like digging deep into the clarinet. That can be a little bit too tense, but you do want to have a firm grip on the clarinet mouthpiece. What a lot of players get, you can buy these little rubber or very thin plastic mouthpiece patch. So if you go to Amazon or your music store, look for a mouthpiece patch. They have these thicker black rubber ones, and they have thinner clear plastic ones, which I have. I have one on my Alto mouthpiece. So there's and you can see my teeth marks because I play so much. I need a new mouthpiece patch. And there's my mouthpiece patch on my clarinet, which doesn't really have too many teeth marks yet. Okay, so I recommend a mouthpiece patch. Okay, what else? William Killick is asking me to please give a shout out. So shout out to you, William. What else do we have here? Any other good questions? Oh, is it good to use a tenor sax on a bass clarinet mouthpiece? Not really. That won't really work. It might make a cool sound. I don't even know if that would fit. I don't think it would fit. I wonder if you meant to write reed. Yeah, a tenor sax reed and bass clarinet reeds are slightly different, so they don't quite work. I mean, in a real pinch, if you're desperate and you have nothing else, actually a tenor sax and a bass clarinet reed are interchangeable, but that's only if like you're completely stuck and you have nothing else. Let's see here. I missed the AMA squad too, Jenna. We had a great time. Let's see here. Have I ever been to Texas? So Sergio Salazar says, have I ever been to Texas, right? What did he say after that? I missed it. I lost it. Oh, you start band in 6th grade. Yeah, I know. In Texas and also some other parts of the country in the Midwest, I know a lot of schools start in 6th grade. And actually, I like how we do things here in where I live, but I think also in where folks start in 6th grade, I think that works really well because you start in 6th grade, but you have band class every day, right? You have band class every day. And that really helps you get better quicker if you're practicing every day. So here in Pennsylvania, we start in 4th grade, but we have band maybe like once or twice a week. So it's kind of a trade-off. I think as long as you practice, as long as you practice every day that you can, that's the best way to get better. And I have been to Texas. Didn't we go? We went to Texas. We were in
we did.
Austin. I was in
Houston.
Dallas, Houston. I took a road trip last year with some of my family, and we had an awesome time. Let's see. See any good questions? Okay. Let's see here. Any tips for playing double French horn? Alexas Holmes. Any tips for playing double French horn? I wish I could phone a friend on that one. I have a lot of good French horn professional friends. I think the thing that you have to work on with the double horn is you have to learn how to use the trigger to play, because I know when you're learning the double horn, you have to learn some new fingerings. So I recommend playing if you're moving up to double horn, which is great. Get with a private teacher, ask your band director for some tips on how to learn those new fingerings. Let's see here.
Bianca Polk?
Yes.
Wants to know if you have any tips for playing the alto sax as a beginner.
Okay. Bianca Polk asked if you're playing alto sax as a beginner, do I have any tips? I would say one of the main things for alto sax beginners is you have to make sure, it's kind of funny. One of the big issues with beginner alto saxes is you have to learn how the neck strap works. Because I'll use this neck strap. Because if your neck strap isn't at the right height, up, down, right? If it's not at the right height, that puts your playing position in that can really sort of make it difficult for you, because if it's too high, you're up like this, and that's not good. If it's too low, you're bending down like this to try to get to your saxophone, and that's not good either. So what you have to do is you have to learn how your neck strap works. A lot of beginner neck straps are like this. They have this little plastic piece here, and they have these loops that come through. So you have to learn how it works. If you want it to get shorter or higher, the saxophone to come higher, you have to learn how to pull this plastic tab up like that. If your neck strap is too short, you need to make it lower or longer. You need to just do that, and it gets lower. So the secret is you have to get the neck strap at the correct height so that when you just hold the saxophone up like this, the mouthpiece should come right to your mouth without you having to stretch to meet it. So I'm sitting up tall. Right now, see where the mouthpiece is? What do I need to do? I need to bring my neck strap higher, like this. Now, it's perfect. So, neck strap is very important. Let's see here.
Anonymous user's been asking you to play Havana.
Okay, on what? Alto sax?
Alto sax, yeah.
All right, let's do it. Can you guys hear this music? Can you hear this? All right. So, let's see if I can remember it. Da-da-da-da. Now, if you watched my video, I played it in those low notes. If you're more advanced and you want to try it out, you could try the whole song in the upper octave by just pressing the octave key. This is what it sounds like in the high notes. That was for you, Anonymous. Let's see. We have maybe about 5 more minutes. We're going to go. And I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can. Let's see here. How Alvaro Conchola asks how to form the Bari sax embouchure. Easy. All the saxophone embouchures are pretty much the same. It's just the baritone sax mouthpiece is bigger, so your mouth is going to be open a little wider than alto or tenor. But you want to find that spot on the mouthpiece where the sound flows, the air flows freely, but it's not a squawky sound. Let me turn down my music. So I'll do it on tenor. Tenor sax is halfway to Bari sax. Here's my tenor. Cool. So if you have, saxophone embouchure, O, bottom lip a little bit over the bottom teeth, and then your top teeth go right on the mouthpiece. So O, bottom lip should not go way in, just over the teeth on top, and then form an O. So. If you've got not enough in your mouth, it won't speak. It'll sound like this. If you've got too much in your mouth, it sounds squawky like this. Right? Pretty harsh. That's what, when people think of the sound of someone starting to learn saxophone and they're like, hurts my ears. That's because they have too much of the mouthpiece in their mouth. Back off the mouthpiece a little bit. And you get a good sound. Okay. Any other questions jumping out at my team here?
I think Sydney McKinney wanted to know, how do you avoid breaking your reeds too often or quickly?
How do you avoid breaking your reeds? Where did I put my reeds? Here. Okay, you ready for this? Reed. All right, here's another reed. These are tenor sax reeds, but it's the same for any kind of single reed. Here we go. So when you get, if you get Rico reeds, a lot of Rico or Diodario reeds, they come in a case like this. Okay. You have to use your reed case. So when you finish playing for the day, take your reed off of the mouthpiece. Don't leave it on your mouthpiece in the case. You'll grow moldy things. It's not pretty. Okay. So you get your reed case, your reed. Now, this is why a lot of beginners destroy their reeds too quickly, because they're not careful enough. The top of the reed is very thin and delicate, super, super delicate. If you bump this against anything, it'll crack and then you're done. So you hold the reed by the thick part at the bottom, and we have the thin part of the reed at the top, and we very carefully place the reed like this, very carefully, just like that. You don't need to shove it all the way in or it gets stuck, just like that, okay? Or if you get Van Doren reeds, here's a Van Doren, let's see. Where are my Van Doren reeds? Here we go. A Van Doren reed case looks like this. You've got your Van Doren reed. You hold it at the bottom, the thick part, and push the bottom part in. Then carefully like that, and your reed is protected. Boom. You also can get a fancy reed case like this. This is my tenor sax Rico, and it kind of stores your reeds like that. It looks really cool. You can buy something like this. Okay. Let's see.
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute till, oh, okay. Let's do a couple more questions.
Shout out to the kids that are answering other kids' questions.
That's
great.
So my team out there, my Dr. Selfridge moderation team wanted me to give a shout out to all of you out there who are answering our fellow viewers' questions. So thank you very much. If you're contributing to answering other folks' questions, that is really cool. Let's see here. Okay, that one doggo says, "Hey Doc, I just wanted to ask how you know what notes to play when you play songs like Despacito and See You Again." So what I do is, if I come across a song that maybe a lot of you are requesting, or it's a song that's got a catchy tune to it, and I decide I want to do a video about it, I listen to the song I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch the video, and I'll listen to the song a few times. And the first thing I do is I figure out, let's see, I'll do this on flute. Someone asked about C. Someone asked me someone asked, excuse me. Someone asked me to play "See You Again" on the flute. I forget who requested that. So I'll do it two at once here. So "See You Again." I listen to the tune. Da, 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 da. It's very important when you play a musical instrument. You don't have to be a great singer, but it's very important to practice singing melodies to get used to figuring out how the notes all fit together. So when your band director or your orchestra director or whoever asks you to sing something in band, don't complain, oh, you know, we're not in chorus class, I don't want to sing. Because in band, it's not about being a beautiful singer like you're in chorus. It's about being able to figure out how notes work. So a lot of what I do to figure out songs is I use my knowledge of the major scale. Have you ever heard someone saying, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So that is what we call solfege, and that's how we sing a scale. So I've practiced that a lot with songs of figuring out how does any song that I hear fit on the do, re, mi scale. So Mary had a little lamb, mi, re, do, re, mi, mi, mi. So you start to be able to figure this stuff out. So when I got "See You Again," da, 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 do, mi, fa, no, do, mi, sol, la, sol. Ooh, gotta warm up. Do, 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 re, re, do, mi. Mi, mi, sol, la. No. Yeah. Mi, sol, la, ti, la, sol. And I just continue like that, and I figure out the tune. Sometimes if the song is in a tricky key, like if it's in like a B major scale or an E major scale, I change it to be B flat because that's a little bit easier. So that's what I did for "See You Again." Okay, cool. We're going to wrap it up soon, guys. How many of you would like it if I did more live streams? I think I'm going to do some more live streams, and I'll answer your questions. You can send me questions throughout the week. If you're having trouble learning your instrument, if you're a more advanced player and you're stuck on something in your school band, ask me your questions. If you have specific song requests, I'll check out your song requests and I'll try to do more videos. So some requests here. We have flute tips, please. We got a lot of people saying yes, please. High octave on the clarinet. I do have a video on high octave clarinet. And oh wow, you guys are really nice. More live streams. Do I have Instagram? Wow, Lauren's Side Panic asked me if I have Instagram. Perfect opportunity for me to tell you. Instagram is Dr. Selfridge. That's DR and then Selfridge. Selfridge. And then what else? Oh, Dr. Selfridge Twitter. Some of you guys might do Twitter. Check me out. I'll put links on this the video below. And that's awesome. More live streams. What ligature do I recommend for clarinet? Real quick, I'll show you this one. I really like these ligatures from Rovner. Okay, I think it's Rovner. Or maybe it's Rovner. But these are really cool. They have the screw on the top, and then this little part here, which goes against the reed. And these work really well. I really like these ligatures. Okay, well, guys, I'm going to say goodbye now. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I think a lot of you guys are requesting that I do this again. So I'll be back again soon, maybe even next week. And leave me some questions and some requests. I'm going to give a couple shout outs. Sydney McKinney wants a shout out. That's for you. Awesome Queen, Sarai and friends says bye. See you later. Hi, everybody. Hi and bye. Okay. So next Sunday, I'll see you again. All right. Bye. How do I, whoa, where's my thing? Oh, here it is. Now bye.